Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. I'm so excited about today's topic. It's one that just screams fun and adventure, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. I've got a feeling this is going to be one of those deep dives where we learn something new around every corner.
Exactly. Today, we're heading to the Philippines. Well, not literally, but we're going to explore a whole bunch of fun facts about this amazing island nation.
And it really is all about the bunch part, isn't it? Because we're not just talking about your typical trivia here. We dug deep to find some truly surprising and memorable tidbits.
You got it. So whether you're a geography buff or just looking for some cool conversation starters, stick with us. You're in for a treat. I think everyone knows the Philippines for its gorgeous beaches.
Oh, absolutely. Those turquoise waters, white sand beaches, pure paradise.
Right. But here's the thing. The Philippines is so much more than just a beach destination. For starters, did you know that it's actually made up of over 7,600 islands?
7,600. That just blows my mind. Imagine trying to visit all of them.
I know, right? And to make it even more interesting, only about 2,000 of those islands are actually inhabited. Some of them even disappear at high tide.
Wow. Talk about a disappearing act. It's really a testament to the dynamic geology of the region, isn't it? All those volcanic islands constantly changing and evolving.
Speaking of volcanoes, we've got to mention Taal Volcano. It's got to be one of the most unique geological formations I've ever heard of. It's a lake inside a volcano, inside another lake.
It's like those Russian nesting dolls, nature's version. And it's a stark reminder that the Philippines sits right on the Pacific Ring of Fire, so there's always a bit of a dramatic edge to all that beauty.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a second and talk about something a little more, human-made. Have you ever seen a jeepney in person?
Ah, the jeepneys. They're like rolling works of art.
They are. They're those super colorful, decked-out vehicles you see all over the Philippines. I always wondered, where did they even come from?
Well, get this. They actually have roots in World War II. After the war, they took all those leftover U.S. military Jeeps, and instead of scrapping them, they turned them into public transportation.
That's amazing. Talk about resourceful, right? It's like they took something ordinary and turned it into a cultural icon. Kind of like how they took texting to a whole other level back in the day.
Oh, you mean when the Philippines was the texting capital of the world?
Exactly.
Those were the days. Remember when we all had those crazy text messaging plans? Well, Filipinos were sending over 1 billion texts every single day.
1 billion.
Yeah.
That's insane. I guess Filipinos have always been super connected, even before social media took over.
For sure. And you know, that strong sense of community and connection really shines through in so many aspects of Filipino culture.
You're so right. Okay, moving on to something completely different. I was really surprised to learn that the Philippines is actually one of the world's largest coconut producers.
No kidding. It makes sense, though, when you think about all those amazing coconut-based dishes they have.
Totally. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But seriously, all of those coconut trees, it makes you realize how vital agriculture is to the Philippines and how closely tied they are to nature.
Absolutely. And it also reminds us of the challenges they face, especially with climate change and those powerful typhoons that can wipe out entire coconut farms.
It's a good reminder that even something as simple as a coconut can tell a bigger story about a country's economy and its resilience. But speaking of resilience, let's talk about Christmas in the Philippines. It's not just a day, it's a whole season, right?
Oh yeah, they start celebrating in September and keep the festivities going all the way until January.
September, that's like 4 months of Christmas carols and decorations.
Pretty much. But you know what? It makes sense when you think about how important family and community are in Filipino culture. It's a time to get together, share meals, and celebrate their faith. It's about creating those lasting memories.
It sounds pretty magical, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, there's one more thing I have to ask about. Something I've always been kind of curious, but also a little intimidated by balut.
Ah, balut, the infamous fertilized duck egg.
Okay, so I know it's considered a delicacy, but
Yeah.
can you, explain it to someone who's never tried it? What does it actually taste like?
Well, it's definitely a unique taste. Imagine a hard-boiled egg, but with a richer, more savory flavor, and depending on how far along it is, a slightly chewy texture.
Chewy. Oh boy. I don't know if I'm brave enough to try it just yet, but I admire the adventurous eaters out there. It just goes to show how diverse and sometimes surprising food cultures can be.
Exactly. Food is such a window into a culture's history and traditions. And speaking of traditions, we can't forget about the Filipino love for karaoke.
Oh yeah, I've heard they take their karaoke very seriously.
Seriously is an understatement. It's
Right.
practically a national pastime. You'll find karaoke machines everywhere, in homes, bars, even on street corners. And they don't just sing, they perform.
I love that. It sounds like a country that knows how to have a good time.
Yeah.
So after all these fun facts, what's the main takeaway you'd want our listeners to remember about the Philippines?
I think the big takeaway is that the Philippines is so much more than just a beautiful destination. It's a country with a rich and vibrant culture, a fascinating history, and a people known for their resilience, warmth, and love for life.
Well said. So to all our listeners, if you're looking for an adventure that goes beyond the ordinary, put the Philippines on your list.
Explore those 7,600 islands, try some balut if you dare, and maybe even belt out a karaoke tune or two.
You just might discover your new favorite place in the world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating journey.
See you then.